Hello, my name is Shekhar Kanetkar. I'm in the Atlanta office of MSC Software. I'm going to show you how assembly meshing works. So I just fired a Patran here. I'm going to create a new database. We'll call this assembly, and we can choose any preference. It doesn't really matter. So we have Nastran right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a solid. Okay, so I'll create a solid which is let us say 1 by 1 by 1, which is this cube. Let's display the points in big. Then we'll create some points which are by interpolation. So I'll create a point between here and here, and let's go non-uniform. Let's go 1.6, and then I'll go point between here and here, and this time I'll go uniform. So I got one more point, and then let's create one more point between here and here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some solids here. Let's create a solid which is a cylinder, and we'll create a solid which has a height of let's say 0.3 and a radius of let's say 0.2, and this thing we'll choose X as the axis of the cylinder because this is in X, so we'll put a cylinder along here, and we'll use this as a base point. So we created this, and then we'll create a couple more cylinders. Let's create another cylinder which has a radius of 0.2, which has a radius which is height of 0.2 and a radius of 0.2, and we'll make this along y-axis. So we'll make that 0.2, and we'll pick this point, and then we'll create, maybe we'll create that one over here, which has a bigger radius. So we'll create that one over here, and over here we'll make a little bit with a smaller radius. So we'll pick that one, and we'll make a smaller radius. So we have all these solids, and we are going to mesh this. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to mesh all of these together, and so what we have to do is we have to go to Tools, Pre-Release, and Assembly Mesh. Okay, so let's see how we do this. So to do assembly meshing, we have to go to Tools, Pre-Release, and Assembly Mesh, and then we have to go on Imprint Wizard. Now in the Imprint Wizard, what is going to happen is we are going to pick all of these solids which we have to mesh using Assembly Mesher, and then we have to hit Apply. What it is going to do is it is going to go and find what are the impressions, or when we do a solid imprint, what is the face of one solid that needs to be imprinted on the other solid, like that one for example, that one and that one. It will find those, and then it will use that to make a boundary that is consistent. Okay, so now once we have done that, we can go and do a mesh. When we go to do mesh, we pick all the solids that need to be meshed first. So this is solids 1 through 4, and then we are going to pick solids with a certain mesh density, and let's pick the small one first. We'll pick that solid and we'll give mesh density. That one had a radius of 0.1, so we can give a mesh density of 0.02. This one had a mesh density of this one had a radius of 0.2, so we can give mesh density of 0.05. This one also we will give 0.05, and then the big one we can give mesh density of 0.1. We can give 0.075, and let us see what happens. So we'll say yes, mesh. Now once it has meshed it, we'll go and see how that mesh looks like. Okay, now As you can see here, it has, if I zoom into this area, you can see that it has made a mesh of the density that we want here, and then here we have a congruent or consistent boundary. You see that matching mesh, and then we had used a global mesh density for this big block as 0.1, so it is kind of coarsening out as it goes away from that body, from that cylinder which was using 0.02. This was using 0.05 and this big block was using 0.075. But where it needs to, it makes this density that is matching. Now there is one more thing here. When we did this, we had chosen purposely solid 4 as the highest priority. What that means is when it starts to mesh, it meshes this first, then that one, and then that one, or whichever order that is, that this one, this one, this one, and then this one. That's the priority of meshing that we had chosen. We can pick this solid, for example, and move the priority down, and if I move the solid 1 which is up, probably we won't get a very good mesh. So let's try that. It's saying, do you want to delete the mesh? And you say yes. It will say, do you want to delete the mesh? Yes. And that's about it.